Hi.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. I'm Sarah Oleski. He's Jamie Thomas. This is Check-In. We are looking forward to getting you ready over the next little bit for this game this afternoon between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. A 3:30 start, so not a lot of time between this show and when the game gets going. But we're going to do our best to get some of the conversation going and get you set for this final game of this 6-game road trip that has been a real grind of a road trip for the Winnipeg Jets, who are looking for a win today to get back to 500 over these 6 games.
For the road trip, yeah. I think the Jets had a great game in Vegas. It's not an easy place to play at all, especially for them as of late. And the effort they put in was I thought it was great, considering with the bounce back they had to come back from the previous game. And then Cole Perfetti scoring twice was great to see. Nikolai Ehlers being hurt at the start of the third period made you feel a little uneasy about his opportunity, where he's going to fit in today, and we'll have an answer on that for you momentarily, or some clarity hopefully on that one from Scott Arniel. But it was a good effort. I think they deserved a lot better than losing 4-3.
All right. Over the next little bit, Jeff Merrick is going to join us.
Yes,
looking very much forward to that. So
he's our only guest.
Yeah,
and he's today's guest.
Today's guest.
Yeah,
Jeff
this
Merrick.
in plural. The Sheet. That's his new show. He'll talk about that and a little bit of his thoughts on the Jets start. And of course, there was a recent ruling in the NCAA with reference to players coming from the CHL, BCHL, and junior hockey players coming to play south of the border. So we'll see how that's going to affect hockey down the road, because it's
across
a very
the board.
significant.
It's a huge ramifications for all the different leagues that are out there right now. We always want to hear from you. You know that. We've already seen people in the chat. We love to be able to see that. Where are you watching today? And we're going to, as always, get you going with the question of the day, which is?
Well, I think we're going pretty easy today with everybody.
Okay.
So,
yeah, well, it's a Sunday. It's nice.
Yeah, it's the final game of the road trip. It's a nice Sunday out. Yeah, everybody's relaxed. So I think an easy question for everybody: who will play a big role in today's game from a Jets perspective? We just talked about how great Cole Perfetti played the other night in Vegas. So who to you will play a big role in today? Here's the other part, though. We don't know quite sure about who's going to be in the lineup and who's coming out of the lineup.
There'll be a lot of,
but it's a best guess for you.
That's right.
It's a best guess for us. We have no idea.
With no morning skate, with the 3:30 start, obviously, a lot of eyes will be on warm up down in Dallas to see who is out there on the ice. Scott Arniel saying this has been a real grind of a road trip so far. Yesterday was a practice day in Dallas. It was an optional skate. There was no Ehlers, no Vladislav Nemesnikov, another maintenance day for him, no Dylan DeMello, and same with no Mark Scheifele. Continue to be questions, although Scheifele played almost 23 minutes in that game against Vegas, continue to be questions about Mark Scheifele as well, with the fact that he continues to not take any faceoffs, but obviously is out there in all other capacities, trying to make a difference with this group. Changes to the lineup. Last game, we went into it and said, well, there was no morning skate in the game in Vegas
either. The same lineup. We showed you a lineup card and everything like that, and there were some changes. Dylan Coughlin got in, Logan Stanley, Billy Hanela, and Colin Miller came out. We will see how Scott Arniel and the coaching staff elect to utilize or create their lineup when it comes to their blue line. So we'll see what happens there again when the warm-up gets underway. Yeah, of course, Alex Iafallo played a big role in place of Nikolai Ehlers. So should Nikolai Ehlers not be available to the team today, it seems more than likely that Alex Iafallo will take his spot on the second line with Cole Perfetti and Vladislav Nemesnikov.
I love some of these. So tuning in from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Cheers, people, says Charlie. Love it. Lots of votes for Hellebuck. Adam Lowry. Sherry, how about this one? Watching with my 102-year-old auntie who is a huge Jets fan. Oh, love that.
There it is. Sorry, I was trying to find it. There, boom, right there. Thank you, Sherry. Hello to your 102-year-old auntie, and go Jets, go for her. Hopefully they get the win for her aunt today.
Yes, absolutely. Kenny's water bottle says that I'm talking pretty fast. I either have had a lot to say and get in, or it's the coffee. I wish I'd had more coffee. But don't know what to say.
Kenny's water bottle. it's Sunday. We're trying to get the show across to you because there's a game coming up at 3:30. So the way things are coming, we can get information anytime now about the lineup. So we're just trying to say stuff before it changes so we don't look like idiots.
So
I don't want to speak for her. I'm speaking for myself.
How to look with this divisional battle coming up. The Jets 9-5 now on the road, 18-6 overall. They still have the best record in the NHL. The Dallas Stars 9-2 at home. They come into this game off a win against Colorado, 14-8 as well. Couple of notes for you when it comes to special teams. The Jets currently with the third best power play on the road. Dallas with the fifth best penalty kill at home. The teams last met November 9th, which is a game that I think a lot of Jets fans will remember because it's the game that we really point to as being the most complete effort that we had seen from the Jets in terms of that 60 minutes, the style of game that they played, and the effectiveness of it.
Yeah, and Connor Hellebuck losing his shutout very late in the hockey game, but that was as complete an effort as going to get in all aspects, special teams, 5-on-5 play, and certainly goaltending for Connor Hellebuck, who didn't face a whole lot of action through the first two periods because the Jets were so dominant. And again, it was just such a great crowd. I think the Jets fed off that, and it's so rare to have that active of a crowd on a Saturday afternoon, but the Jets fans were tremendous on November 9th.
Which we're looking forward to tremendous Jets crowd Tuesday night when they return home for one game only before heading back on the road against the St. Louis Blues, another divisional matchup. Let's take a listen to Scott Arniel yesterday when he was speaking about that game in Vegas and then also looking ahead to this game here this afternoon.
4 here. That was one of actually the hardest or most our competitive side of games for us in Vegas since that playoff game when we won game 1 there a couple of years ago. We haven't been real good in that building, and I thought last night, we got off to a tough start. We had a couple of penalties early that kind of, was obviously got them up and running. But at the end of the day, I liked the way we kept battling. I didn't like the fact that we gave up 5 or 6 rush chances against, and sometimes that's a mental side. Our sort-outs weren't great, where we usually have that down pat. We kind of got away on our sort-outs on those, so there was 3 rush goals against. But I liked a lot of what we did last night. There was a lot of good things, and we stayed in it. We had some great looks, even with the goalie out at the end. But Dallas, again, different team, different look, but you got to change off of last night, move on to tomorrow. We had success because we did certain things, and there'll be things that we'll look at tomorrow. We'll have on the, our pre-scout to show that, there's certain things that Dallas wants to do. There's certain things that we did against them that we have to continue to do. And it's like we've done all season long. Move off of Vegas. We were done with it now. We've talked about it. Now we got to get ready for Dallas.
That is something that we've heard a lot from Scott Arniel. Very much as he knows that everyone hates to hear that one game at a time mentality. Put the last game behind you, just worry about the game in front of you. That's certainly something that he has reiterated many times throughout this season so far, and they'll look to do that again today. The biggest question mark surrounding this team going in is the lineup question and whether or not Nikolai Ehlers, who was not able to finish the game because of a lower body injury, whether or not he will be able to be in the lineup this afternoon.
Latest on him?
Yeah, just again, we'll go day to day here. Just not we'll see how he is tomorrow. See if he's any better tomorrow. Get some treatment, get some rest today, and then look at it tomorrow. See where we're at. Obviously can't really do a whole heck of a lot till we get home.
So would you rule him out though for tomorrow's game?
We'll wait. Well, let's see how today goes. He's getting full treatment today, and see if there's more soreness or if it's better. And he's the type of guy who wants to play. I'm not going to rule him out of anything yet, but it doesn't help that it's a 3:30 game. But we'll just kind of get through today and look at it tomorrow morning.
Bit of a relief in the sense that when you see a guy go down and obviously not return to the game, maybe.
Well, let's wait and see if he's in tomorrow. Then
Right.
So, but unfortunate. Obviously, what he means to us. You saw what he did on the Perfetti's first goal, and he has a skill set that the opposition coaches kind of circle with his speed and his ability to create. So, it's a hole when he's not there.
There he is. Scott Arniel on Nikolai Ehlers. Again, that information could change any second now. So while we wait for that.
I love the way that you are setting that up.
What?
Any second now. New information could come through.
We have to back ourselves up and make sure things are, cross off everything and say, you guys said that he wasn't going to play. I got to take that out of there. Got to get rid of that option. One of the best options we have certainly on as a guest He is a man with a new show. He is a guy with many talents. He is Jeff Merrick from the show, otherwise known as The Sheet. So before we get into everything else, tell us a little bit about the new show, my friend, and congratulations on that.
Yes.
Jamie, thank you. Sarah, nice to be with you once again. Yeah, real quick, thumbnail here. It starts Monday, December 2nd, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. 1 hour, it's kind of in a weird spot in the day. I mean, it's kind of in the middle of the afternoon. So you're kind of done with the topics from last night and you're starting to preview what's going on that following evening. So it sort of gives us a chance to talk about big picture things. And I think that's going to be the challenge of the show every day is, okay, what's the power topic of the day and how can we go in as deep as possible on it? So available at our Daily Face Off YouTube channel and then available wherever you get your podcast, your Spotify, your Apple Pods, etc. Thank you for the time, Jamie and Sarah. How are you guys today? By the way,
who's your first guest?
We have former Edmonton Oilers coach coming up. We have Jay's gonna stop by tomorrow, and I don't know how much Jay Woodcroft. Well, I don't know how much we're going to talk about his time with Edmonton. We're going to have to talk about it, but he's had a fascinating 12 months. A lot of head coaches when they get dismissed, they'll spend time sort of either being on the panel on TSN or they'll sort of sit by the phone and wait for calls to come. Jay's been proactive and he's gone to Europe a number of different times to see how other teams do things, how other coaches coach. Went to the Holinka last year as well. Like we saw him on the ice in preseason with John Tortorella and the Philadelphia Flyers. Like Jay's a really smart guy. Really smart coach, always learning, always trying to gobble up new information, find out which way the game is trending. So I think the main thing coming out of tomorrow's interview with him, because Woodcroft's such a highly intelligent guy, what has he learned over the last 12 months? Like, sure, we're going to go through the McDavid and Draisaitl and Edmonton stuff and being dismissed early in the season. But to me, the juiciest part is going to be what's he been doing the last 12 months to make himself a better coach.
Well, can't wait to watch, Jeff. Always such a huge fan.
Thanks,
and
Sarah.
Always enjoyed all over the years and the different platforms that you've been on. The insight.
I have you fooled, Sarah. Have you fooled?
You have many people fooled because you have a lot of people that are missing you. So we're really
we're looking so forward to it, Jeff. And
Thanks.
You've always had your finger on the pulse of this league. So you look at this Jets team. I want to ask you your perspective on it. I mean, they're at 18-6 now, and obviously this last stretch have been a little bit of ups and downs for them as they look to get back to 500 on this road trip here today. What have you seen from them recently? And do you think that, everything's kind of, despite maybe the ups and downs recently, trending in the right direction with this group?
The good thing about what's happening recently is, the Winnipeg Jets spent the first part of the season just banking points, not unlike the Carolina Hurricanes, and they've kind of hit a speed wobble too. I remember talking to someone in Carolina about this, and this does apply to the Winnipeg Jets not too long ago. Said, you know what, we might be due for a little bit of a crash here. The shooting percentages aren't going to stay at 25%. There's a little bit of a market correction that's going to come. I mean, 82 games is a lot of games in a season. But the point that this person made to me is, and I will apply this to the Winnipeg Jets, we've done a good job banking points for when we do have that speed wobble. So the Winnipeg Jets really do have a luxury because at the beginning of the season, as we all know, they're smashing records. And because of that, they can withstand, losing 5 of their last 8 games or absolutely laying an egg against the Los Angeles Kings where they only muster 2 shots in the third period. Yeah. That's okay. Like if the record were different, if they had been a 500 team going into this road trip, things might be a little bit more dire. But right now you say to yourself, they did such a good job establishing their structure early. And, Sarah and Jamie, I always maintain that whichever team can get to their structure the quickest tends to do well starting a season because everyone's playing scramble hockey and trying to figure out how to play with one another again. Those teams tend to do well. Winnipeg did it better than anybody else. And now they do have the luxury of saying, you know what? The road trip started out okay. And last couple of games haven't been great, but we can maybe course correct here against Dallas before heading home.
What have you always enjoyed about Jets and Stars games, Jeff? Like there's so many as a Central Division rival team, but just what those games provide because they, you never know what you're going to get. But at the same time, They're defensively well played, but what do you enjoy about Jets and Stars games?
Well, first of all, it's always star laden, pardon the pun. I mean, the Dallas Stars are one of my favorite teams to watch. I mean, they're one of those teams that can almost play you any way you want. And one of the things that I like about this year's edition of the Stars is the old folks line, which is getting it done. I mean, Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, Mason Marchment. And we'll talk a lot about, what that Rupe Hins line means now with Wyatt Johnson on it and Jason Robertson on the left side. But it's the old guys. It's the graybeards. It's 33-year-old Matt Duchene, who's leading the team in points, and right there next to him is Tyler Seguin and Mason Marchment. They have one of the most underrated defensemen in the game, as we all know, Miro Heiskanen, and they're getting stellar goaltending. As Winnipeg Jets fans know his name all too well in Jake Ottinger. You always talk about how styles make, like for example, boxing. The old cliche is always styles make fights. I say that about hockey as well, and for whatever reason, whenever certain teams get together, just stylistically, they've always matched up well and they're good games. Minnesota and Vegas have always been two teams that when they get together, they make really good games. Just stylistically, it works. Minnesota and the Dallas Stars have been right up there with Vegas and Minnesota for me in the Central.
Okay, so a big ruling just came recently from the NCAA, changing the whole course of hockey with junior players in Canada. Of course, they couldn't go down that because they're considered professionals. You couldn't play in the NCAA. That no longer applies. How is does this trickle-down effect going to affect hockey going forward, in your opinion?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, well, we have a bit. So,
okay,
it's such an important question because
I
think a lot of people are confused about what's going on and what it means.
Let me try to give your viewers and listeners a quick little thumbnail here. So what Jamie is talking about here is the NCAA recently had a ruling which redefined CHL players not as professionals. Now, players that do have a contract can't play NCAA Division I hockey, but if you don't have a contract and you play in the CHL, the door is still open for you to play Division I hockey. So what is the fallout? One, you're seeing an attrition of players from the USHL and the BCHL to CHL leagues. I think you'll see more of that in the weeks and months to come here, certainly next season as well. And so short-term, the CHL becomes a better league. Long-term, I wonder about the elite level 19-year-olds in the CHL. Like we're already talking about players like, Porter Martone, who might go first overall this year, going to college maybe as early as next year. Maybe even someone like Gavin McKenna, who'll probably be the first overall draft pick next year, maybe going to a Division I college early. Michael Misa, the same way, he might go first overall this season. So it's going to become increasingly hard. It's going to be harder and harder for elite level. So for CHL teams to keep their elite level 19-year-olds, it almost feels like they're going to start to transition into Division I programs probably sooner than a lot of junior hockey operators would like. And I think we do wonder about the U.S. development program. What's the future there? There's all kinds of wild rumors. Like, do we see the development program play in the OHL, Jamie and Sarah? Like, we never would have thought of a day where that could happen, right? Like, what's going on here? Where did I wake up? But we're starting to now have these conversations. And to be honest with you, nobody really knows how this is all going to shake out and what's going to happen here, because as long as there's a lawsuit going on, the NHL is hands off. But the minute the lawsuit goes away, all of a sudden, I think, and this will be Bill Daly's file, they'll come in to, I think, begin to sort all of this out.
You'll appreciate this, Jeff. We had a luncheon here at Canada Life Center. It was both Cole Perfetti and Dylan Sandberg we had in front of people. And so I asked each one of them so Cole obviously went through the CHL.
Yep.
Dylan went to the NCAA, and I asked each one of them what they liked about their respective path they took. Cole's was, it's an NHL-like schedule. You get to play against the best players in the country. And Dylan's was, I get to play against guys that are older than me and stronger, which he felt prepared him for the National Hockey League in quicker variety. So there's obviously pluses to both leagues. Yeah. So it's just, I found it very interesting to hear both perspective and why they chose the path that they chose. So
I agree that it depends on the player and what that player needs. Like, some players just need more games.
Yes.
Some players need more gym time. Like, there's not one sort of cookie cutter, one size fits all. But I'll tell you what's interesting through all of this. And it's funny because I just got off the phone before I joined you two with a college coach. And we were talking about, the decision the teams will have to make with players. Do they play in the NHL, or do we send them back to junior for one more year? I mean, we've seen this every year, whether it's, I don't know, take your pick, Brant Clark with the Los Angeles Kings, or once upon a time we had this conversation about Taylor Hall with the Edmonton Oilers, Shane Wright with the Seattle Kraken. Now the option is, it doesn't have to be an NHL or CHL decision, because now all of a sudden you can go play college hockey as a 19-year-old, where in the American Hockey League you can't. So you look at someone like Easton Cowan, who plays for the London Knights of the OHL, and he's ripping it up like a 50-game point streak. It's almost like a father and son's game out there sometimes when London is playing with Easton Cowan. And you say, you know what, he's probably outgrown the OHL. Now there's a college option for him where he can play, to Sandberg's point, with kids that are older and sort of start to learn how to transition from being a boy playing hockey to a man playing hockey.
My friend, I appreciate your time. Good luck with the new show tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
The podcast. Glad you're back on the airwaves where you should be showing off your hockey knowledge, and we'll be leading with Hockey Hall of Fame knowledge a little bit later on. So
you read that just like I wrote it, Jamie. Thank you very much. The check is in the mail. Sarah, always good to be along with you.
Thanks so much, Jeff. So great to see you.
See you guys.
See you soon. Like, I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a shame that he wasn't able to continue doing what he does best, which is entertain all of us. But him having his own avenue and doing things the way he wants to is also
looking forward to it. It'll be great. And again, you can get going with it tomorrow.
Yeah, the big show.
I had to think for a second. Is tomorrow the second already?
We forgot to mention this too for the Scott Arneal clip he was talking about yesterday. It's today with all the stuff.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Just let people know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Again, crossing off all
the checks and balances. When Jeff mentioned the Duchesne Sagan and Mason Marchment, the old guys line, which I love, that line for them, all three on pace for career years, which is really phenomenal when you think about not only the careers, especially that Sagan has had already, and Duchesne, but for them to be producing the way that they have to start this season, 39.5% of Dallas's goals so far have come from those three.
Well, Dallas has always been top line heavy.
Yeah, right.
Like I can go back 6 or 7. Since I've been covering here the Jets, they've always just had that one line. That's and I know last year during their playoff run there was a lot more depth, and you have to have a lot of depth to beat a team like Colorado Avalanche, which Dallas did. But it always seems like they're just top heavy in many ways.
All right,
they're still effective.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is game. Very much looking forward to seeing how these two teams match up against each other. Second meeting. It's hard to believe this. So this will be the second of 4 meetings this season between these two clubs. They don't play again until March 14th.
I know.
That's a shame.
Well, remember their second to last game against Dallas last year was one of their best efforts going into the playoffs too, and that's why we got all so excited heading that playoff series against. But I know, I like the NHL gives you a little. Sometimes they'll play all their games against.
I know, and you'll be down and go, how is it that it's the beginning of December and they've already seen this team?
Yeah,
now they're all done. I know.
Dallas. Schedule makers have the worst job.
Yeah, actually, it'd be really fascinating to talk to someone. What program they use and just what sort of filters
Excel?
I imagine that they just a simple Excel. Yeah.
Make a schedule.
Just put in 32 teams, 82 games.
This day they're building to fill this many, and Los Angeles 265 days, but fit them in. Yeah. But this team's coming in from here. You need to get this team here. We can go on forever.
Yes, we can, but we won't for you. Again, waiting to find out whether or not Nikolai Ehlers will be in the lineup today. Alex Iafallo finished up on that second line for him the last game. This is where the benefit of an Alex Iafallo really plays in for you, that he can move throughout the lineup. We saw it last season, seeing it again now. We'll see what happens this afternoon. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, listen, your new show, Home Ice, came out.
Yep.
Lovely. Should we show the masses what you have prepared for everybody if they haven't taken part of it yet? Or do you want to do this? Is that part?
Sure.
Did I jump the queue?
No. That sounds great.
Well, I'm just excited. It's good. I saw it the other day.
So Home Ice was a series that we started last year, getting to know players, getting to know different people within the Jets organization away from the rink. We started a new season this year. The debut episode came out last night. You can catch it on YouTube, on the Winnipeg Jets webpage, as well as the app. a variety of different spots, but it'll also be a portion of it will be debuting today on TSN during one of the intermissions. But here is a quick look at what you can expect.
To the forward line. Mike Eagles comes out with Scott Arneal. Puts the pass in the top. Shot. He scores! Scott Arneal.
Scott, when you think about how you arrived in Winnipeg as an 18-year-old and you're drafted by the Winnipeg Jets, would you have ever thought at that point in time that this city would play such a huge role in your life so many years later?
No, I don't think I ever, really ever thought about it then. I mean, until I met my wife, and then her being from Winnipeg, that was the connection. And then all my years here and my love for kind of being in this city and sort of all the different things happened for me in my hockey career. It just became a natural that this became home base.
All right. See, well done. Saw the whole thing. It's great. I love the photos that you guys managed to pull out of there.
The photos are great.
Obviously, when you're flashing back with stuff like this, it's so important to have photos.
Yes.
Or else it's just not the same. But there's just so many great photos. And there's a great video of Scott with one of their grandkids, and just like it's well done. You did a good job.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
I know you did all the work on it, so it's just, yeah. As well.
So check it out. If you want to see a number of people that are saying that they have had the opportunity to already, some that say don't spoil it, don't worry, that was just a little taste of it. You can go and catch a look at it. Jerry Trapp asking, who's not playing today? Jerry, we would love to be able to tell you definitively, but unfortunately with it being the 3:30 start and this being right now 12:56, there is no morning skate, so we will have to wait and see. So you definitely want to tune into the TSN pregame show or listen on OB, and they'll be able to
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, you'll know.
There you go.
3:05 around there, especially with boys in the booth. You'll have that with Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton on CJOB and Power. Well, it won't be on Power 97 until the game starts.
There you go.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
All right, we filled the show.
We did.
Anything else you want to cross off our list?
Oh, very quickly. So we talked about home ice. Let's talk very quickly about ground control.
So Nino Niederreiter is our guest. He was fantastic talking about many items, as we always do on ground control. That will be coming out tomorrow. So Sarah has the spotlight over the weekend. I get Monday.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, Wednesday,
Thursday.
We're just, it's Jamie's
That is our
world.
next show.
It's Jamie's world. We're all just living
okay.
it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hope that you enjoyed today. Hit that like button, subscribe. We are here at 12:30 every game day. And you take a look. There's so many of you in the chat right now. We love being able to hear from you. Love the conversations that are going on as we continue to try to build this community here amongst Jets fans while also getting you ready for the game. The great news with Tuesday's home game here.
Finally.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
It's just one home game, but also with tomorrow being a day off, should be a morning skate.
And we'll know the lineup. We will know the lineup by the time we come on with you guys. You'll have answers.
Looking forward to it. As always, really appreciate it. Big thanks to Jeff Merrick for taking some time out of his Sunday to be able to join us and provide some insight. Always enjoy that. And we've got more in store for you on Tuesday.
See you guys on Tuesday. Thanks a lot. Watch the game.
Thanks so much for checking in.